Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia Wakio. I'm the Communication and Events Manager here at Corporate Staffing Services. Today we'll be talking about a service we offer here at Corporate Staffing, the CV Writing Service. Today we'll be discussing about a service we offer here at Corporate Staffing, the Professional CV Writing Service. We are joined by our main recruiter, Mr. Pamina Swainaina. He has over 10 years of experience as a recruiter. Karibu sana, Mr. Pamina.
Great, thank you very much, Wakio, for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a professional who has over 10 years of experience in this business, what is it that you look for when a CV lands on your desk?
Now, that's a very good question. And I'm saying it's a good question because a CV is a marketing document. And most of the time when professionals are coming up with the CV, all they think is about including the education and professional experience. But they forget the main purpose of a CV is to get you in the door. So look at a CV as a marketing document, then which will get you to the next stage of the job search process, which is the interview. So to answer your question, what would I be looking for in a CV as a recruiter? Is the biggest question the CV should be able to answer is this person a good fit for the position that I'm hiring? Yeah. And remember, you're not the only person applying for the jobs in there. There are thousands and thousands. For example, I'll give you an example. For entry-level position, for jobs where we're looking for someone with less than 5 years of experience, we get between 700 to even 1,500 CVs. For management position, you'll get between 150 CVs to, let's say, up to 500 CVs sometimes. Obviously, some of the people applying may not be qualified, but you can see how competitive it is. So it's upon you now to make sure that you are standing out, because there are very few instances where an employer will call you so that you're able to explain yourself. And that is why I think most of the candidates go wrong.
Yeah. 1,000 CVs, those are a lot of CVs. And I imagine you have a very short time to look through the CVs.
Precisely. And I like what you brought out. In fact, 1,000 or even 2,000, those are very few CVs. I remember there's a time Kenya Revenue Authority, they were looking for management trainees. Guess how many CVs they received?
Over 10,000?
60,000 CVs.
Oh, wow.
The judiciary also are in the news, and this is something that you can Google. They were looking for, I think they were hiring for 10 positions. They got over 150,000 CVs. Yeah. So I think that's another topic we can discuss, why we have so many people applying for jobs. But the key thing here is, and you've said it, I as a recruiter, I'll probably spend less than a minute looking at your CV, deciding whether will this person go to the next stage, which is interview or not. So with that short window of time, you need to stand out. Yeah.
And I'm sure one of the things you have to have is to be very observative as a recruiter. So what are the common mistakes you see in different CVs?
I think the biggest mistakes, and this one is for those who are very experienced, is that they only have one CV, as generic CV. So they could be applying for 2 or 3 or even 10 jobs in a month, but they send the same CV. What I would recommend you to do is, for every job that you're applying, yes, you can have your standard CV, but for every job you're applying, try to tweak it to suit the position that you're applying for. Yeah. That way, someone will be able to see that you're a good fit. And the way to tweak it is, you look at the job advert or job description and look at your CV and be able to see that is there a match. And if there's no match, try to highlight as much as possible what is in the job advert or job description to be in your CV.
All right, let's jump into the service we offer here at Corporate Staffing, the Professional CV Writing Service. Tell me more about that.
So this is a service that we've offered for the last 10 years. The service is as old as the firm. And when we were discussing about candidates, why are some not getting interviews, even when they were qualified, we realized that they are not able to market themselves. So I would interact with professionals. Majority of them, they keep telling me, Paminas, I've been sending my CV to you guys and even other recruiters or even newspaper job adverts, and I don't get called for interviews. So at the beginning, I would ask them, send me your CV. Let me have a look at it. And surely, when I look at the CV, it's not a good representation of who they are. Maybe they did this CV in a rush. Maybe they've not customized it to suit the position. The formatting could be wrong. They've not included some of the key things that we look for in the CVs, things like even achievements. Too lengthy. They've included some information which we don't even need. So if you remember what I said, that I only have less than a minute to be able to assess whether you, Cynthia, you're a good fit versus you sending a badly worded CV, a CV that is not persuading me, then you can see why many of the professionals don't get to that next stage of being called for an interview.
All right.
Yeah. So now, so when we realized there's a gap, so we started this professional CV writing service. And what we do is, at the first instance, when you send us your CV, we review it for free. We will give you feedback. We look at 13, we have a checklist on 13 items that your CV should have to qualify as a professional CV. And then we'll give you feedback. We'll tell you, Cynthia, you need to change A, B, C, D. You need to change your career profile. You need to change, you don't have achievements. So we'll give you feedback, and that's for free. Because that's one way we support professionals in their career, in their job search process. And then should you wish, our team can also do the editing and the revamping at a very affordable cost.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have come to the website. I want you to revamp my CV. Now, how long does it take to get this service?
So I would say we follow a 3-part process, very simple. So like I said, if you are watching even this on our website, you'll be able to see we've provided you email address for the staff, our staff, where you can send your CV. So the first thing is just send it to us for a free review. And here we say, if you have over 2 years of experience, at least if your CV, if you have some work experience, then we can be able to help you. So send it. The review is free. We will not judge you. We will take our time to look at it. Then within 24 hours, we'll have given you feedback. We'll tell you, Cynthia, this is where we need you to improve. And then we'll also discuss with you. If you wanted to do it on your own, if you feel you're competent, that's well and good. However, if you do want our expertise, our help, then we charge you a small fee, affordable an amount. And then it takes us 2 to 3 days to be able to revamp for you the CV. Then when you're done, we send it to you. You can have a look at it, ask questions if there's need be. If we also need us to clarify on an area, we'll do that. If you need us to do further editing, because now you see how your document looks professionally, we can do that. So I would say give it between 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In this digital era, employers have gone digital. So is this CV that has been revamped ATS compliant?
Oh, yes. For those who are not aware, ATS means
applicant tracking system.
Exactly, applicant tracking system. So you find employers will ask you to either upload your CV on a system somewhere, or they'll ask you to manually input your CV. You type your CV. So indeed it is. For example, I'll give the example of HR. What we make sure that for HR, we put in your CV certain keywords that will stand out. If you're in digital marketing, as you are, Cynthia, you can't have a CV which does not talk about content marketing, SEO, copywriting, such kind of things. So if you're an accountant, what's standing out? Are you talking about financial reporting, budgeting, costing? If you're in sales, do you have items such as very good in presentation skills, negotiation skills, prospecting, all those kind of things, just to mention but a few. Yeah.
All right. So people who have used your service, are there any success stories where they come back and tell you, I got a job, I got called for an interview? Are there such stories?
Indeed, they are. And like I said, we started this service to bridge the gap between people who've been applying for jobs and they're not getting interviews. We also target people who are looking for career change. We also target people who say, well, I've been working for the last 10 years. I've never looked for a job. I don't know what is the most recent. I know things have changed. So how do you format your CV? We also help people who, for one reason or another, they could not be working because they've taken a gap. So how are you able to address that gap? There are also people who are in very competitive field. For example, sales, accounting, NGO world. These are professions where you need to stand out. You don't have a choice. If you're a doctor, maybe even with a badly worded CV, you can get a job. But for the other professions, majority of the professions, you really have to stand out. So every time we revamp someone's CV, we get a lot of good feedback, and some of them within 2 or 3 jobs, for those ones who are looking for positions, they come back and tell us, I think over half of them, they tell you, okay, now I've started getting interviews and it's working. So it's really interesting and exciting when I start seeing that people are getting the results that they were looking for.
So for someone who is watching, what would you advise them? What is the next step?
I believe if you have over 3 years of experience, this is not your first job, I think, and you are very keen on career growth, you are keen on getting to that next level, then I believe it doesn't hurt for a professional to, have a second look at the way you are presenting yourself out there. So this is, because it's free, I mean, for us we offer, at the first instance, we review your CV for free. So you don't have anything to lose. So just send your CV. There's the email on the website, on the page where you're watching this CV, or if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, there's the email address scrolling. And when the team receives your CV, we review it for free, we'll give you feedback. And there are people, I would say, like between 5 to 10% of the people, maybe they only need to change just a little bit. Yeah. So those ones, you tell them, yeah, your CV is okay, it's professional, there's no need even to make major amendments. But there are others, and I would say the majority, who they have to go to that next step where it's now redoing the CV themselves, or even getting our service from us. So if you're watching this video, just send your CV and get professional feedback on how you're marketing yourself out there.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Paminas. It's interesting to hear all of this because most of us use our friends or relatives to look at our CVs, but hearing it from an expert is something different.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. As you've heard from the expert himself, your CV is your mirror and you need to stand out. Send your CV on the email provided on the screen, and our experts will be able to call you and review your CV and tell you the way forward. Thank you so much, and see you next time.